estranged couple have been found.
Mr. Ravindra Mahtray, who's 48, disappeared on Friday evening after leaving his job at the Indian High Commission. A previously unknown group, the Kashmir Liberation Army, have said they're holding him. They threaten drastic action unless political prisoners in Kashmir are released. Extremist Muslim groups in Kashmir are demanding either independence from India or integration with neighbouring Pakistan. Mr. Mahtray finished work at the Indian High Commission in Birmingham at 5 o'clock on Friday night. Then, as usual, he waited for a bus on the opposite side of the road. That's when he was last seen. Within 4 hours of Mr. Matray's disappearance, Reuters news agency in London had received a letter purporting to come from the Kashmir Liberation Army, demanding the release of all political prisoners in the Indian part of Kashmir. The abductors, according to the police, didn't threaten Mr. Mahtray specifically, but they do believe his life is in danger.
My objective is to get Mr. Mahtray home safe and well. I'm concerned when a diplomat of this status is missing for no apparent reason.
Mohammed Yunus, a prominent local Kashmiri, says the last contact with the kidnappers was made last night via the Kashmiri Liberation Front.
As I understood, they said that the matter was not taken seriously, so we will see the consequences later on.
Do you think that Mr. Matray's life is in danger?
I think everybody's life is in danger who are involved in this incident.
At Mr. Mahatra's home this evening, police were still with his wife and daughter. The family have not been contacted.
Of England, a shipyard.
The body of the Indian diplomat kidnapped in Birmingham last Friday has been found in a farm drive 30 miles away. He'd been murdered. Previously unknown Kashmir Liberation Army claimed to have carried out the kidnapping. West Midlands police say the body of Mr. Ravindra Mahtray, who was the Assistant Commissioner of the Indian High Commission in Birmingham, was found in Hinckley shortly after 10 o'clock last night. They refused to confirm whether he had been shot. From there, Michael Cole reports.
Red House Farm lies just 200 yards from the M69. The farmer's wife, Mrs. Joyce Tallis, spotted something lying in the drive as she drove home with her husband Arthur at 10 last night after visiting friends. They telephoned the police. Several hours later, the body of an Asian man was positively identified as that of the missing diplomat. The area was sealed off until a search could be made for any lead to the murderers of Mr. Mahtray. The farm's 20 miles from the spot in Birmingham where he was last seen alive. Shortly after he was abducted on Friday night, his kidnappers issued their demand for £1 million, or else they threatened to murder their captive by Saturday night. The dead diplomat was abducted by people calling themselves the Kashmir Liberation Army, a group hitherto unheard of in this country. Ever since the Indian subcontinent was divided 35 years ago, Kashmir has been hotly disputed by Pakistan and India. More than once they've been to war over it. Over the years, hundreds of thousands of people have died over what is said to be one of the most beautiful places on the face of the earth. Mr. Mahtray is the latest in that number. The diplomat lived with his wife and 14-year-old daughter in the Bartley Green area of Birmingham. His wife is now under sedation. Police believe he was almost home when he was snatched by a team of men. They bundled him into a car as he walked the few hundred yards from the bus stop to his door. Unlike diplomats at the High Commission in London, Indian consular officials in the provinces don't get armed police protection. Until now, they weren't regarded as the targets of political violence. Mr. Mahtray was a career diplomat who spent most of his time stamping passports. In the Kashmiri community of Birmingham, feelings about their homeland run deep, but the feelings of revulsion at this murder run deeper still.
I'm sorry for the life of Indian diplomat, and I think that the people who are responsible for this incident, they will be brought sooner or later into scene. But I hold Indian government responsible for this whole incident, because Indian government is continuing occupy Kashmir by force.
meant is, I would like to add something.
Is there any reason why Mr. Mahtray should have been singled out for this attack?
Well, very little appears to be known about the group which claims it kidnapped Mr. Mahtray, the so-called Kashmir Liberation Army. However, there has been growing tension in the Himalayan state of Kashmir, whose chief minister has accused Mrs. Gandhi of seeking to topple his government. Last month, there was widespread political violence in the area, causing a number of deaths, injuries and arrests. Well, with me now is Professor Maurice Jones, a former director of the Institute of Commonwealth Studies in London. Professor Maurice Jones, do you suppose those troubles last month led to this killing?
I think they must be connected with it. There has been continuous agitation in Kashmir since the elections of June, which the party of Farooq Abdullah won against Mrs. Gandhi's party. And the accusation that he made that she has been trying to topple his government is indeed a very serious one. He said that money had been put in to try to bribe his members to leave their party to join hers, and that gangs had been hired to commit loot and arson. These are very serious charges.
Do you know anything about this Kashmir Liberation Army?
Well, it is well known that although the majority of Kashmiris are merely resentful of Delhi domination as they see it, there are some more extreme elements who are thinking in separatist terms, and the army is presumably one of those elements.
Because there is an organisation which has offices in Britain called the Kashmir Liberation Front. Is that above the board?
Well, it is possible that one is a split off from the other.
I haven't heard of any killings or kidnappings like this before. Is it the first time it's happened?
I think it is unprecedented, but Kashmir is one of Mrs. Gandhi's very serious trouble spots, and there is a long history of distrust between Kashmir and the central government. Mrs. Gandhi's father, Nehru, had to imprison Farooq Abdullah's father for many years. The distrust is of long standing, and it is a peculiarly sensitive area because it's the only Muslim majority state in India, and of course it is a border state on which Pakistan and India are